I first wanted to become an academic. And I failed at the very beginning to do so. And it was probably a chance and an opportunity. Because it pushed me towards some other perspective, and I became a civil servant. And after a few years, I became an investment banker, and after a few years, I became, I would not say a politician, but I became a minister, and afterwards, I ran for election. I think these very first failures, not to get access to my first perspective and what I had in mind, made me stronger. Made me stronger. Because it pushed me to reinvent something else, to try again. And as I told to your colleague, not just to be, I would say, the hostage of my own failure. I'm obsessed by that. And I think my main success is probably what I did right after. Your main success are those you don't see. But the fact that from a private point of view and a professional point of view, I reinvented right after what I wanted to do. This big success is not just an election. It's what you built before. And the consistency of what you built before. Because I have to say, my main bet when I ran for elections in France was I always made the assumptions, and I'm deeply convinced that people are smart and see everything. And a lot of classical politicians were used just to convey classical message of the party, I would say, to our people. And French people were perfectly aware of the situation, of the fact that the classical political life was framed in a crazy, following a crazy way. And they see when you are not sincere. And I think that's the case for all the people. When you have a lack of sincerity, when you don't build your own approach, your own proposals on a sincere basis, at a point of time, people can see it. I think first my private experience provided me independence. I get a job. It's something totally different. When you have a job and you know that you can make your family happy and live without being involved in politics, you are much more independent. And being independent from pressures, from people, for me is the starting point to do what you believe in and to make useful things. Second, I think it provided me a better understanding of the private sector. And what I believe for Africa, I do believe it for France. The government, the state has a very important role to play. Because we organize a common life, we provide education, health, and we provide protection for people when they are in a difficult situation. But we need the private sector to provide energy, opportunities, hope, and this dynamic. And understanding the private sector, this dynamic, the entrepreneurship was useful to me as a politician and now as a president, precisely to try to accelerate this trend. And I want to tell you, and that's my message, my ad moment for France. Now in France, we are the country where you have the largest company in Europe. We call it the CAC 40. Some of them are in this room. That's a strength. We have large companies, very strong, very solid, used to work with especially African continent. That's the strength because they hire a lot of people. And I think what I want to do as a president is precisely to redevelop this win-win approach and to make them stronger. But we has, in the same time, the number one country in Europe in terms of entrepreneurship and startups creation. We have now the most vibrant ecosystem in terms of startup. And that's why I do believe in the exchange between our ecosystems. with new financing, new startups, new experience. That's why I do believe in this Digital Africa initiative. And that's probably where my experience in private life is now very useful to me.
It would be nice for our political leaders here in Africa to understand the potent power, the importance of people we have in this room and those who are not even in this room, because our demographic structure, we have over 60% of our people who are under the age of 30. We need our government to prioritize it. And we also need some of us in the private sector to realize that they need, just as we had, democratization of luck, access to opportunities. They need all of us to support them. And they need us to invest in their future so that collectively all of us can make Africa great.